Morning everyone. I wonder if you recognise either of these objects. Here's the first one. It's on display in our front room amongst many other objects a little bit like this. Recognise what that is? And then what about these? Admittedly, a smaller version, a child's version, a vintage pair of, well, you've got it, clogs. And of course that is a shuttle, and both those items just take me right back to my childhood. That's why we have them displayed in our lounge. It's a reminder of the kind of world that we grew up in as kids in Ramsbottom in Lancashire. I remember the first time that I went into the mill, which was right next door to where we lived. The noise was absolutely deafening. You could hardly hear, you couldn't hear a word that anybody was speaking. And I remember looking in there as a child, just amazed at the vastness of it and the noise of it. And all the ladies, mum amongst them at one point, with the cotton in their hair and all of that sort of carry on. It was quite an amazing sight. I can see Sue's mum coming home from work right now in my mind's eye, again with the cotton in her hair. They were tough days, but they were the days in which we grew up in. I remember too that even in spite of all the noise, that the women always found a way to communicate. Best illustrated, I think, in Les Dawson with Sissy and Ada in the sketches that he used to do when they would do that whole miming thing when they begin a sentence, Mary, and they do all of that kind of thing. And it was that sign language that the women developed in the mills to communicate with each other in spite of all of the noise. Wherever there's a will, there's a way. They found a way then. We're finding a way now in this pandemic. People are finding a way to communicate. Social distancing is pushing us apart, and yet people are finding a way to come back together. We're doing it through technology, of course, and things like Facebook and Instagram, WhatsApp, Zoom, all of these sort of various ways we can communicate are being used in greater ways than ever before. But it's not just technology. It's all the other ways that people are finding to get together. Neighbourhoods are rediscovering each other through extraordinary acts of kindness, through coming together on a Thursday night to clap and to cheer the NHS and other key workers, and the conversations that often follow those celebratory acts. And then, of course, there's the way that families are coming together. As I've been out and about on my bike or walking, it's been great just to see families, mums and dads and boys and girls, teenagers, just walking along, chatting together, laughing together, doing new things together. People have been finding a way to come together. It's reminded us just how much we all need that human touch, that communication, that contact with other people around and about us. But it's not just the human touch, is it? I've really found that during this time that more and more people have been longing for that divine touch as well. In fact, I was reading just the other day that the numbers of internet searches just on the word prayer has been going through the roof. People are just crying out to make contact with God in some form or another. Online congregations to many of the church services that are being streamed either in their entirety or in part have been attended by thousands upon thousands more than would ever attend a church on a Sunday. People have found the anonymity perhaps of being able to attend these things just as a point of access for them to feed the hunger that they're feeling in their own hearts and in their own lives. And then, of course, there are many vlogs, the video blogs that people, Christians, have been putting out onto the internet right around the world, sharing their own thoughts, their own experience, their own walk with God and how God has met them during this time of crisis. And they've been getting hits in their hundreds and thousands as people have been just hungrily just digesting all of this information about how we can know and communicate with God. It reminds me, that love always finds a way. And thousands upon thousands of people the world over have been discovering Christ in these days, coming to know his love, his forgiveness, his grace, his mercy, his joy, his hope, his peace, everlasting life, new life in Jesus right now. Right around the world, literally in their multiple thousands, people are coming to know Jesus. There's a hunger out there. Perhaps it's always been there deep within us, and yet maybe life was just so busy we never ever found the time or the space, or maybe that sense of urgency to do something about that. One thing I do know is that God is speaking. He's never stopped. He's speaking through his creation. I'm thrilled that almost since the day that we were put into lockdown, certainly here in the northeast, it hasn't rained once. We've been able to get out and about in the local countryside. We've been able to see God's creation. I was out yesterday just marvelling at just carpets of primroses out in the woodland near here, and the bluebells now beginning to come through as well. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful, and so many other things we've been seeing and appreciating. It's all part of God's amazing creation. He speaks to us through these things. But then he's been speaking through his word as well, the Bible. And more people are turning to the Bible. Online alpha courses, Bible study courses. People are just taking these up right around the world. There's a hunger there. And the Bible is answering the questions that people are asking in these days. And then through the love and action of others. And Christianity's not got a monopoly on that. There's been a generous heartedness that's gone right throughout society. And I'm just thrilled about that. And it's exactly what Jesus said when he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, your strength. But then he said, love your neighbour as yourself. And people have been doing that. So now's the time, isn't it, to communicate, yes, with each other, but also with God. And whenever I see that shuttle, I'll be thinking of those women in those mills just finding a way, and you can find a way right now to communicate with each other and to communicate with God. Why not talk to him? He's listening. I'll get back to you later. Thanks a lot. Bye now.